She sits back and thinks for a moment. And says, nobody, there's no good photography. There's no good images of him.
Yeah.
People have described him. Kevin, she says, Kevin, they describe him differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know how to describe it, but when I'm him, I feel more confident. I feel more like myself. And I understand that it's hard to believe, but it's true. And
she kind of swallows a little bit. She's saying, I don't want to sound like pushy or like I don't value what you're saying. She says, can you show me or trust me with any of this?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, that's significant.
Yeah. And I also want to tell her, uh, but it's really, you're the second person I've told this to. So you're really important to me because only my mom knows. And it's really important that you don't tell anyone. I'm not ready to tell everyone yet.
She thinks about it a minute and says, but you should. Maybe not right away. But
yeah. Yeah, I know. I should probably. I've been hiding for too long, but I need to do it properly and think about it before I do it because it's a big step.
She nods and says, I get the idea that Murr and you and Silverlanson probably solve a lot of things that the rest of us just don't see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's also a lot of perks on being a bit cautious, and public opinion is not always a good thing.
She says, you'll have to tell me more about this. If you want, I'll tell you what I think as we go along. She says, right
Yeah.
now, I'm just amazed that you've shared this with me. And she kind of leans forward and says, can we get out of here?
I need to go back home now.
She wants to see like powers.
Yeah, but I think I need to go home and process this. But I'll show you in I'll go and I need to think about how I'm gonna show you, but not right now. I'll text you.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to end this encounter on this extremely cringy note, and let her have her own thoughts about just, I don't know. There's still something off about this. She's got her own thoughts about this. See what
Yeah.
happens. All right. As far as the day is concerned, the only thing I have scheduled is Silverlawn sends. Well, not the only thing, but for you, the thing that's concerning here is Silverlawn sends job and the consulting.
Oh yeah. Oh well, that's. She would. She clearly would want to hear this expert opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way,
On,
as of now, Kevin gets some more health back.
Mm.
So that's 6 more points.
All right. Are you gonna note that in my sheet?
Oh, right. I have it. Okay. Let's do this consult and finish it out, and then we will be able to do a chapter ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think. It did not end quite with the potential, did not end with the bloodshed that it had potential to end with, but it did end. So let me quickly do 1 or 2 more things here. So you did go on a date, and that was really significant. I'm calling that a big date. And I'm going to, let's see. People did work during this chapter we just finished, right? People did work. I think
yes.
I think everybody did some.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about cooperating with the police as meeting responsibilities. And we did get I'd like to remind you about practice. Does anybody want to take some time today for practicing? Mur has already practiced this chapter, but Silverlansen and Verna Vivinden have not.
Yeah, I think I could probably try different things that I could use to show.
Right. You can rehearse a little bit about a demonstration. Yeah. Right.
How am I gonna do it? How am I gonna look so that I look the coolest? You know.
Exactly. Right. And the get together, the javelin. You went out and threw javelins by yourself.
I believe so. Yeah. And actually, entirely like thematically or like story wise, considering there wasn't any sort of rather anticlimactic sort of ending, and she didn't, get the opportunity to pierce anyone.
Well, what I'm trying
to
say,
she might actually do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that since we have this day, you can put in a little time. I mean, for Silverlansen, it could be as simple as just doing breathing exercises, right?
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. So you have tons of things you can do as practice. So,
and given that you have your meeting with a psychologist, like you could, did you have mental or something? Like you can have like get ideas from that conversation.
Force. I think we established that mental force is basically like just you generate
telekinesis. All right,
you generate like a physical attack with it.
Well,
it's rather like very specific.
Well, in a way, let's talk about that in a minute. We need to play the consult though. There's somebody for you to meet. First, yeah. There's somebody for you to meet, and that person is named Erik Love Eklund. And you will meet a man who's in his mid-30s. He when he comes to, he doesn't have an office. He's visiting, so he's going to come to your place, and at work. And he is, as you can see, is walking. Although you can't really see that there's much disabled about him walking, because he's using a cane, a fairly like modern low, it's not like a big cane, right? But he uses it to help him with his right leg. So he uses it in his left hand. And so every step with the right leg, he provides just a little bit of support with the cane. And it's very automatic. He's clearly, skilled with this.
Yeah, I might actually. I think we're in some sort of meeting room, probably booked for the day.
Yeah,
she might actually, pull out the chair for him or something before sitting down herself. Just.
Oh, I see. Okay. And
nice
he'll actually kind of glance at it, and instead of just sitting where you put it, he'll take the chair from you very politely and place it where he wants it and sit in it.
I see.
So he didn't object to what you did, but he took it over himself. And so he introduces himself, of course, Irik, and is really, he's got his own sort of, his job was to work up a profile for Silverlansen.
Yeah.
And so he'll talk a little bit. He'll mention to you that he's been working. He got a psychology degree after his military tour, and so he's been doing this. He says, I haven't been doing this for decades. I haven't been doing this but I've been at this for about 3 years now. So I'm really interested in where you think, I'm working from theory, and I'm really interested in your eyes on this, because it's going to be coming from a completely different perspective. And I want you to know that I'm probably going to be correcting more things than you are.
Oh, yeah. But also, where did he serve anywhere, like in foreign service, or was it just like he did work in the military?
No, he actually did go and serve with coalition forces.
Would have been a stand probably in that case.
Yeah, well,
it's Swedish, I think.
I'm trying to think of exactly where, but it wasn't like an incredible hotspot. But you know what? It probably was. It probably could have been at the Nigeria area. And
would have been rather recent too. Actually, sort of like 4 or 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Active,
exactly.
Deployment.
Yeah.
So
and then he said, when I had to come back, I realized that I needed to take a different approach to life and do something that I thought was really constructive. So anyway, here's the thing. Laying it out, the most important thing, as recent political messaging has shown, is just how wide open, how blank a page we're looking at. And on paper, or rather at first glance, it matches a whole bunch of media tropes, vigilante by night, justice bringer, and all this kind of thing. And yet that's not really what we're seeing and what reports we actually have. We're seeing extremely focused, very focused, possibly even informed activity. And what I'm concerned about, a person who he's laid out all these kind of charts and stuff, and you might be a little alarmed. There's stuff you didn't know they knew, right? That's about stuff Silver Lanson has gotten up to. And yet there's also blank spots. He's concerned actually about potential psychosis.
Oh, I mean,
is this person...
You really think that?
Well, if this person is this driven and yet so isolated and so disconnected from different social services or, and uses weaponry and activity that are on the edge of violence. I mean, I've examined the weapons that are here in storage, and and those she's capable of deadly force. It's not like she's using bow staffs or something like that, which are dangerous but aren't going to impale a person with just a thought. I mean, the evidence we have is that she can throw these things, and he points out the distance, right? She can throw these accurately to a remarkable distance. And
I think then I would actually fill in like, that does match our, technical evidence and so on, which we are collected. That does show that this is basically superhuman ability, as presumably without being some, elite athlete level, at least.
He says yes, elite athlete level is clearly, the default here. And the point is, I mean, this person seems vulnerable to being co-opted. What if one of these political groups actually provides her with the social support, with confirmation or with admiration or with some kind of ordinary human social support for what she does? How easily would she be co-opted? She can't possibly keep up on an individual level like this indefinitely.
I think what Nina would say, I'm trying to figure out how much would she, actually let slip. Maybe quite a lot, actually, considering the kind of person she is. But like, she might actually say something like. But can you be sure it's not like presented this way to not appear to be more isolated, just to play up on media tropes, to sort of build a character? Like, it might actually be, it's a, she might even say, it's a running fear we have, and this investigate, or as I am collecting this evidence, it might be a cover for some sort of like more connected.
For that purpose, we would have to look for a pattern in her activities that would point toward her priorities. And right now, that's, how am I going to put it? Right now, that's what I'd like to focus on, is to try to generate some notion of her personal mission. If she has strength in her personal mission, some kind of coherence to it, some kind of, some pattern or some line with a direction for her activities, then we can think of her as having enough autonomy, enough presence of mind, so that she's not just a loose cannon walking around waiting for someone to aim. And in particular, however, too, what would her reaction be to somebody who presumes too much, to somebody who does think they can control her? I mean, as I say, every bit of evidence points to one bad day being enough for this person to go too far, or to make somebody do something to start using fear, or perhaps even going over the line with people on the other side of the law whom she thinks she might even make an alliance with for whatever reason. There's just so much bad waiting to happen here.
It's of course all speculative. Nothing. You don't have,
No, of course not. And the good news, of course, is her association with Myrrh. which is why I was trying to put together some ideas about how to approach Murr about this in a legal, in an ethical way. I wanted to ask you about that. But you know what? And he kind of slaps his hands down. What is going on in this department? They have an investigation of him with no justification whatsoever. All the ordinary monitoring processes were going fine, and yet this new investigation came out of nowhere. And he's saying, he kind of looks around and says, I'm really sorry, Nina, but there seems to be kind of a management problem going on here.
Well, I appreciate, speaking frankly, and I believe you have correctly identified an issue here, without, perhaps this being the right forum to discuss that. I might understand what you mean.
He laughs a little bit and says, are you really going to use some kind of appropriate, hierarchy? I'm supposed to go through channels to talk about this? He kind of puts up his hand and says, come on. He says, I work with all kinds of institutions now. And he kind of, in a curious callback to a previous conversation this session, says something like, you should see academia. Kind of makes a face.
Well, I've heard, there's a reason I didn't go there. Yeah. Anyway,
I heard from somebody about that. Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I'm just saying, Eric, it's just the way it is right now. I mean, what am I supposed to do about it? I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
But I think I have to do.
He says, I speak frankly a lot, and sometimes it might get me in trouble, but I think that if we're going to be working together like this, you just should know I'll be speaking my mind about what I see. So
I think you should. The best way. I really appreciate this profile. You put together of this suspect or like person of interest is very in line with our sort of technical evidence and sort of the empirical evidence I've collected.
Well, what do you think? Do you think that that as a person of interest, which I think is appropriate in a lot of ways, but do you really think that this is a dangerous person? Should we be talking to Murr about possibly putting some more boundaries on this, or even perhaps encouraging her not to do this? What we need to look at this and see whether Silverlansen is actually a benefit to society.
Well, I see, Eric. You've been speaking frankly, so I will be speaking frankly to you too. Back, I understand you see the risks here, but I don't see the empirical sort of point in as far as has been observed thus far. I don't see that the same risk as you.
Well, yeah. He's saying, well, that's why I'm asking, and you realize he really was just asking.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. At that point, he was just. He says, okay. He accepts this. He says, okay, let's go with that as our working assumption right now.
Yeah.
And so,
and I will get you, a line to Murr. As a part of this, preliminary investigation, I will try to write not a warrant, but sort of letter of introduction and so on, so you get through the proper police channels to Murr, so you can get an, introduction that way.
That sounds great. He says, I'm really. He kind of relaxes a little bit and says, "This looks like a project we can actually do."
Oh yes, it's very
so. So he also is saying too. Between with Vernevy Vinden and Silverlansen, it's this anonymity which also is of concern. I don't really know what to think about that, he says, frankly. It's not something that has enough of a pattern across other criminal activity or paracriminal activity for us to really understand.
Anonymity gives freedom of action.
Well, yes, but he says, but American serial killers would say the same thing.
Well, so naturally,
right? We have to think in terms of whether we want to actually reach out to Silverlansen. Ultimately, it's a question for the long run. It's a question of policy based on what you and I can discover and what we can conclude, whether it will be a really good idea to talk to this person and say, maybe this would be better, or whatever the skills that you're bringing to this maybe might not be best handled in a cat suit at midnight with a mask.
At the same time, as you said yourself, this potentially isolated individual might be driven further into isolation or further into extreme action if pressured.
That's what we'll figure out.
Careful.
Right. I agree.
Exactly.
That's what you and I have to figure out. But we will have to make an informed decision about it, because my final report is going to be a policy guider. It's going to be guidance for policy.
Well, as long as the departments function. Well, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, anonymity doesn't just give freedom of action. It gives removes the fear of reprisals.
Mm-hmm.
Might be that's reasons to not perhaps through the actions.
He kind of stops and looks at you a little closely and says, "You have some sympathy for her, don't you?"
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Work. The talk goes around. The police department and so on. Does act in ways that are perhaps a bit quicker than the normal channels.
Yeah,
that's all.
It is. He kind of says it is sort of tempting to think along those lines. Anyway, he has combined data and has charted out a couple of things. He's pounding some things in his little laptop, as you've been talking, and he's saying, "This is really getting somewhere." He says, "I'm actually pretty excited. This like really is progressing. Please do, see if you can help set up something with Myrrh. I don't know if this whole new complication with Myrrh is going to be a problem for us, but I hope not.
As long as he's not doing anything wrong, there's nothing to fear."
You get the idea. He doesn't overreact to that, but you can see that maybe in the next 24 hours he's going to turn over and over and over in your mind that you said that. It kind of sticks out. That phrase kind of sticks out, and he's too smart not to notice it in the long term.
Did you say as long as you don't do anything wrong, you have nothing to fear? Or as long as he doesn't do anything wrong?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is going to be that's he says, so he'll finish the appointment. He says, goodbye, and I think his little reaction might come just as he's stepping out the door when that phrase kind of lands. And then he keeps going. So, all right. Let's do some karma, and then we can finish up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. For our heroes and their karma, I must say this was a unique experience. All of you will gain 30 for stopping a violent crime, which you did. And I often I wonder if it should be more than that. Violent and destructive, and 20. So you stopped violence and destruction in Norrköping tonight. That will be 50. You do not, however, get the bonus points for actually bringing that person to custody.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you did stop it. Vernivi Vinden went on a date, so that's 20 more. Met responsibilities, so that's going to be 10 more. And you didn't skip practice. Now, so let's see. For Vernivi Vinden, that makes 50 plus 30, that's 80. But then we have this little problem of permitting a crime to occur in front of your eyes, I might add, which is minus 10. And, participating in human experimentation, minus 30 minus 10. So that gives you 40 total. 40 more karma total.
Me.
Correct.
Okay.
For Myrrh, it is quite similar, except that you didn't permit the crime to occur. You were not at her flat. So that particular set of crime. So therefore, for Myrrh, the total is 50 karma.
Alrighty.
Now for Silverlanson. I've tried to be nice. I tried to be nice here.
Really?
But the crimes include kidnapping, human experimentation, and that assault. And then I do have marked permitting a crime to occur. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I messed up Myrrh. You didn't go on a date. So that's 50, 60, minus the 30. So Myrrh ended up with 30, not 50.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Kevin got 20 more for going on a date, and then you got 10 more for not doing that thing. So, okay. Let's go back now to Silverlanson. So 30 and 20, 50, 60, 30 minus 50. You break even. 0.
Ah, well. It costs to stay on top.
Right. So that is where I'm actually quite pleased. That all makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I liked how it ended up as well this session, because like it is one of those things, like it does occur in comic books, and we had a little standoff. We have some sort of agreement.
Nobody's really happy with it. The heroes aren't exactly happy with it, but they know that this might have to be the way for a while. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like continuing there and then would have been bloody.
Yeah. And I also think that you should know that on the rest of Thursday, there's a social upheaval. The community action and their rather effective organizing is criticizing the police and also the civic action against the network itself. A whole bunch of people are outed by public action, which is basically they're daring the network to do something. This many of us are outing this many of you. You say you're going to do reprisals. Yeah, we dare you, is kind of what the public is saying right now.
Oh.
So you're getting a pretty dangerous and very assertive social movement in Norrköping right now about this neighborhood in particular and this network in particular.
Mer thinks he's going to have to go there at some point in their future and talk to these people.
Mm-hmm. Well, they are being very effective, and they're also they're also being proud activists about this, and they're doing functional things. They're not begging for help.
No.
And so the trouble is, of course, that this Medoyan guy is bearing down on Norrköping like a freight train.